This video is sponsored by Surfshark.
I've done an everyday carry video. I've done a what's in my tech bag video. I've even done a MrMobile studio tour 3 studios ago. But the number one question in my comments continues to be, MrMobile, what phones do you use? Followed closely by, and how do you juggle those phones with all the review phones you're always getting in? Well, it's your job to ask. It's my job to answer.
Honestly, it's a good thing this question gets posed so often because every year the answer changes. Like some of you, I upgrade my phones annually, but for the last few years, the types of phones I've been using have stayed roughly the same. In January 2020, I walked into a Best Buy and dropped the dough on my first foldable, Samsung's Galaxy Fold. And ever since then, my main phone for workdays, transatlantics, and transcons has been a large format, book-style folding phone. Yep, I've never gone back to an ordinary slab phone for my primary personal device. Now, at the time, I didn't know that's what would happen. I bought that first Fold because at the time, Samsung didn't allow media to hold review samples for extended loans, and I wanted my own unit to see how well or poorly these new folding phones aged from a durability standpoint. I've covered those questions extensively in my series Into the Fold, but the short answer is, even though there are trade-offs in durability and reliability, none of them have been enough to overcome what's become my kind of addiction to foldables. Anytime I want, I can have a browser, a book, a calendar, a camera calling companion that's infinitely more comfortable than a conventional phone because it becomes a tablet on demand. So after buying that first Fold, I also bought the Fold 2 and the Fold 3. And when Samsung relaxed its policy on long-term loaners, I decided to hold on to the Galaxy Fold 4 review unit for as long as they'd let me. And that's the device I continue to use today.
As I said, I've told that story many times. But there is a more interesting question lurking here as well.
That question being, why Samsung? After all, my office is stocked with one of nearly every folding phone ever to be released. And as you've seen in my reviews, several of them are much more exciting. Like the Vivo X Fold has an incredible camera. The Oppo Find N2 is more pocketable with a wider screen to boot. The Xiaomi Mix Fold 2 is almost impossibly thin. All of them do a much better job of hiding the crease in their displays, while also maintaining wider outer displays than Samsung. So why do I stick with the Fold 4? Well, first because it's the only large foldable officially sold in North America. That means I don't have to worry that it'll have the 4G and 5G bands I need when I travel within the States. It means I don't need to spend a long time fighting its software to make sure it plays nice with the apps I use, and it means if I need to get it serviced, as I will soon because the screen protector's getting these annoying purple lines at the hinge, well, I can go to a Samsung store or Ubreak iFix to do so. And just as important as any of that, Samsung has been in the foldable game for longer than almost anyone, which means it's been able to optimize its interface better than most as well. So until another manufacturer offers a book-style foldable to Americans, I'll continue to rely on Samsung's next big thing for my working weekdays. Of course, that leaves nights and weekends, but on the way to that crucial other half of my carry, I want to show you an app that I install on all my devices. As you may have noticed, I'm back on the road this year, and that means my sponsor, Surfshark, is back in my taskbar. It's not that I don't trust airport or hotel Wi-Fi, but when I'm rushing around in travel mode, I worry that I might mistake a fraudulent public network for an authentic one. That's called an evil twin attack, by the way. Well, by using a VPN like Surfshark, I can make sure that all the data I'm sending while I'm on the go is encrypted, which keeps me safer. Also, it keeps me in control by making it harder for a service provider to throttle or limit my connection in order to squeeze me for more money. Speaking of money, save some. Get Surfshark at the link in the description and use code MrMobile for 83% off and 3 extra months free. Thanks to Surfshark for sponsoring this video.
Now, for those times I'm not cramming in extra work on the ferry or breaking open a new book at the bar. My nights and weekends phone is also a foldable, and it's also a Samsung. But that wasn't always the case.
My preferred secondary phone has been a clamshell-type foldable, since Motorola created the category with the revived Razr in 2019. And when the company followed that up with the Razr 5G the following year, I was prepared to say hello, Moto, every day for the rest of my days. It didn't matter that the camera wasn't great or that the battery life was trash. Even when I shattered the thing and had to send it 10,000 miles away to a fellow YouTuber for a fix because Motorola's repair options were non-existent, well, I still loved it. But as time went on, the Razr 5G's shortfalls started to stand out more and more, while the Galaxy Flip just kept getting more capable. It didn't hurt that my carrier, T-Mobile, was offering insane deals to get folks like me to upgrade to the Galaxy Flip 3, which I got for free $99, as they say, after trading in an older phone. For a moment, I thought Motorola's 2022 refresh of the Razr might win me back, but, well, I spent a whole video explaining why that particular widebody failed to woo me back to the iconic brand. So for the past year or so, the Galaxy Flip 3 and then Flip 4, which I also got from T-Mobile after a great trade-in deal, has kept a low profile in my sleeve, chest, and mini pant pockets when I don't need it, and has caught the eye of many an impressed passerby when I use it to shoot the flex mode selfies that have become a strangely common occurrence in my day-to-day. Now again, it's the clamshell foldable category I love more than the Flip specifically, so might this change when Oppo releases its Find N2 Flip in Europe? Possibly. I am scheduled to review that device, so be sure you're subscribed to the MrMobile on YouTube so you don't miss that in a few weeks.
And no matter what brands they bear, the fact remains that I'm usually carrying two devices side by side at once. Those alongside usually a third device, whatever I'm reviewing at the time. So how do I keep all those mobiles on the air at once?
Truth is, I've had the same phone number for 15 years, but not a traditional number. I set it up using a service that used to be called Grand Central before a 2009 acquisition that saw it rebranded to Google Voice. That number is the one I give to everyone, so when people call or text it, that call or SMS is forwarded to all the phones upon which I have the Google Voice app installed. Currently, that includes my personal SIM in the Flip 4, a Verizon evaluation SIM in the Fold 4, and a Google Fi account on a Pixel 7 Pro review unit, which I find really useful for international travel. I also usually keep my iPhone 14 Pro review device in whatever bag I'm using because it's still unbeatable for quick mobile B-roll video. And finally, there's almost always a new review handset in the mix somewhere, which, as this video hits the feeds, is a OnePlus 11 running on a Tello SIM card because Tello is a future sponsor. Yeah, it's a little extra work to set up and manage all these new phones all the time, but it's a lot easier than it used to be. Think about it, so much of our messaging these days is cloud-based, folks. So from Gmail to Instagram chats to Facebook Messenger, all my communication history is restored each time I log into a new phone. I don't use iMessage. Instead, I prefer Telegram because it's cross-platform and I can use it across multiple devices. Please, though, don't fall for the scammers in the comments. I will never ask you to contact me on Telegram, and I will only ever comment from my verified YouTube account. When in doubt, check for the check. So there you have it, folks. With the exception of review devices, I live an all-foldable, all-Android lifestyle, made possible by clever call forwarding services and a cloud-first approach to messaging. It's a little complicated, and it does have its frustrations, but for me, that's a small price to pay for the privilege of living on the bleeding edge of mobile, with some of the world's newest and most interesting devices. That's a privilege I wouldn't enjoy if you didn't tune in to watch these videos, folks, so please accept my thanks and let me know if you enjoyed this pilot episode, of Ask Mr. Mobile. If so, you can submit additional questions to me in the comments of this video on Instagram at @TheMrMobile or on Twitter at Captain2Phones. As always, no manufacturer or carrier was given copy approval rights or editorial input of any kind into this content. The lone sponsor is Surfshark. Until next time, from Michael Fisher, once again, thank you for watching, and stay mobile, my friends.